Right, welcome everyone back to another video. Today in this video, I'm going to be doing my 2024 early AFL ladder predictions. Starting off with 18th, I have the West Coast Eagles. Now, this is not the most creative statement, but realistically, I think the West Coast Eagles will finish 18th. You know, they don't have much depth. And Adam Simpson, well, yeah. Right, moving on, in 17th spot. Now this one, I guess is slightly controversial. I've got the Richmond Footy Club. Now I'm sort of switching it around, and first I had them in like 8th, but then the competition this year, or next year, is so tight, so... yeah, so I have the Richmond Footy Club at 17th. Yeah, I don't really see the Richmond Footy Club doing much this year. I think it's more, like I sort of see them finishing top 8, but there's so many teams that are pushing for top 8 next year as well. Moving on to 16th spot. Now this is probably one of my more controversial ones. The Fremantle Football Club. Yeah, so Fremantle. I actually don't mind their coach. I think Justin Longmuir. I'm a fan of him, but I think they're in a bit of a shambles, like the whole Lockie Schultz thing going on. I mean, obviously he got traded to Collingwood, but I seem to be in a bit of a shambles. I think they definitely do need a rebuild, even though they've been rebuilding for the past 7 years. Anyways, moving on, I've got in 15th spot, North Melbourne. I do see them climbing. I don't know if it's just because they're a Victorian club that makes their players a bit more well known. They got Larkey, who could be pushing for the Coleman medal. And especially Zerha. I love Zerha. I think he's going to definitely, do something next year. Right, so next, in 14th spot, now this is controversial. I've got the Western Bulldogs. Now, they're either going to finish, around 14th, or they're going to push for top 8. And really push, probably make it. Because they've got probably one of the best lists in the comp. Their forward line is stacked, their midfield is stacked, and their backmen, well... Yeah, they've got the likes of Norton, Ugelhagen, and their midfield is stacked. Like I said, they got the Bont, Trelaw, and yeah, that's why I think the Western Bulldogs will finish 14th. That's not really a great argument. They've got great players, but they're going to make 14th. Anyways, I'm not 100% convinced. Really inconsistent last year, and not a great end to the season. Anyways, moving on. In 13th spot, I have the Hawthorn Hawks. Now, a lot of people see them pushing for top 8 next year, and it's funny because I remember last year I thought they would push for top 8. I just had that funny feeling, and then of course they had a stinker of a start. But then they really were pushing top 8 clubs. I do see them contending for top 8, but again, there's a lot of great sides, so I think they'll finish 13th overall. Now 12, this team is just, I don't know what's going on. The St Kilda Saints, and the Saints have a pretty good lineup as well. Jack Sinclair could possibly be contending for the Brownlow next year, but again, I don't see them improving at all next year.
Get absolutely stuffed, mate. You absolutely.
Didn't really add anything to their list except for Jade Gresham. I'm not convinced with the Saints. I think there's a lot of other sides that look like they're going to be pushing for the top 8. I don't see the Saints doing so. So I think they'll finish 12th next year. Now in 11th, I'm really iffy with this club. I don't know. I think it's kind of a safe bet. In 11th, I've got Gold Coast. Again, like I said, bit of a safe bet. They always finish around 11th, 12th every year. So I think they'll push for top 8. Especially, they're going to be a force at their home ground at Metricon or Heritage Bank. Yeah, so I see the Gold Coast Suns finishing in 11th spot next year. Right, moving on. This one, I don't know. 10th, I've got the Geelong Cats. I do see them, I could possibly see them finishing top 4. A lot of people are, I think, doubting on them this year because they had a bit of a stinker last year. I know it sounds very cliche, but they're too old and too slow. So that's why I've got the Geelong Cats in 10th spot. Okay, moving on, I've got the Essendon Football Club. Now this is 9th. They brought in a lot of recruits, and that sort of makes me wonder, maybe there is something going on there. But I think to play it safe, I'm putting Essendon at 9th spot. Right, before we move into the top 8, I'm going to do a surprise Brownlow prediction. Okay, I'm going to say it now. For my surprise Brownlow prediction, I've got Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller. Now, if you don't know who this bloke is, he plays for the Saints. And there were talk of him moving into the midfield next year. He's only going to get bigger and better. And last year he was racking up like 30 disposals every game. So, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if he polls really well for the Saints. Okay, moving on to the top 8. This is where it gets juicy. 8, I have Port Adelaide Football Club. This year, I wasn't convinced with them. Their home deck, they were pretty competitive, but everywhere else, they were pretty mid. And going out in straight sets is not a great look. That's why I'm putting Port Adelaide in the top 8. 7, I have the Melbourne Football Club.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I think the Melbourne Football Club are in a bit of a shambles at the moment. I reckon they kick out Stephen May. Great defender, but what a knob. I don't mind their coach, but I just think in general, they're a bit of a shambles of a footy club. And that's why I'm putting them in 7th. Right, here we go. In 6th spot, I have the Adelaide Crows. Realistically, they should have made the finals last year. Got a lot of young talent, and I do like their coach. I don't know his name. I think at their home deck, the Adelaide Crows are deadly. Right, in 5th spot, I've got the Sydney Swans. I think a lot of people are doubting on Sydney. I think after last year where they only just made the 8 and went out straight away, I think people are sort of doubting on the Sydney Swans, but like they're just such a great footy club. And they also brought in Brodie Grundy. He'll be a good replacement for Tom Hickey and Taylor Adams, which, well, you know, I actually don't really care. Okay, moving to the top 4. You probably already know who's in it, but it's just the order of it. 4th, I have the GWS Giants. What a club. I was lucky enough to get tickets to Giants Collingwood preliminary final. I nearly vomited. But they seem to have something going for them. You know, they don't have the most fans, but they're an inspiring football club. And it seems like everyone's playing for each other. I've got a feeling they might win the premiership next year. Alright, 3rd, speaking of Collingwood, I've got 3rd Collingwood. Yeah, Collingwood, my team. I think they'll win it. No, they'll...
Okay.
We brought in Lockie Schultz and he's going to be a gun. Obviously, he gave away Taylor Adams and Jack Ginnivan, which, you know, I'm going to be honest. Jack Ginnivan, bit of a knob. Now, in 2nd spot, I've got the Carlton Football Club. I think they're only going to get better and they'll finish top 2. Now, in 1st, I've got the Brisbane Lions. Obviously, they're a very inspiring football club, the Brisbane Lions, and I think they will finish top 1. Right, that's my ladder prediction. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Comment down below your predictions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.